Okay, welcome. We're excited to talk about supplements with all of you today. And supplements are always kind of a hot topic. It's a huge industry, in fact. So some cool stats for you is that the supplement industry is about a $31 billion industry, and about 75% of adults take some kind of supplement daily. So, oops, we're going to mute that. So what is the deal with supplements, right? So whether maybe it's that we don't eat enough of the right foods and we're trying to supplement a diet, or maybe it's that we just want some targeted products based on something that's going on in our body. But a big concern that people have, and we should have, is that there's not a lot of regulation, or if any regulation, on supplements. So many suppliers include a lot of synthetics and artificial ingredients in their products, which really is defeating the purpose of trying to take a supplement to be healthy and well, right? So some of those synthetic ingredients include artificial colors like blue #1, red #40, yellow #5, hydrogenated oils, mercury, anti-caking substances like talc and titanium dioxide, things like that, and the list goes on. So what is the magic sauce with Young Living supplements? What makes them different? So first of all, they use whole food sources, fruits, veggies, herbs, the roots for their supplements, for our supplements. And I'm cute again. So we use real foods as our base for our supplements, and we infuse most of our supplements with essential oils, which makes them more bioavailable, meaning they absorb into your body faster. So you actually get way more for your money when you buy a Young Living supplement, especially those infused with essential oils, which is the vast majority of them, with a few exceptions, because things like probiotics, we don't want the oils to kill the good bacteria before we take that probiotic. So you can be certain that they are 100% natural, which is huge. And there's different kinds of supplements that Young Living offers. So we have foundation supplements, which typically have a green label, which are the vitamins and minerals that support a healthy lifestyle. We have cleansing nutrition, which have typically a blue label, and they're used for detoxing and cleansing. And then we have targeted nutrition, which is typically an orange label, and they are used to support areas of your body such as your gut, your joints, your brain, your hormones, etc. So that's basically the gist of our supplement background. And I know that there are a lot of people on this call from Africa, and part of the reason that we did this call is because you guys just got a bunch of supplements for the first time in Africa. And so we will cover that, but I also don't want to give the other supplements a poor shake, because we have a lot of amazing supplements that hopefully every country will have at some point. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So with that, I'm going to hand it over next to Lisa May, who I called and said, hey, you've told me some really good stories. Would you mind sharing your story for us today? So she doesn't normally talk, but I'm really grateful that she agreed to join. Lisa, are you there? You want to unmute yourself?
Hi, I'm Lisa. Allie I adore Allie, and she's a very good friend. And so because she's a very good friend, she has persuaded me to do this, because I do not like public speaking, or, I'm one of these people who hide in the shadows. So anyways, because of my great love and respect for Allie, I'm doing this. My son, it was a few years back, he was in elementary school, was really stressed out. First of all, he wears glasses. He has a lazy eye. And second of all, he has tubes in his ear. So currently he has a lazy eye that he has to wear glasses to wear in place. And he has a hearing aid. And on top of all of those issues that were going on, he started losing his hair. And he actually had started with a bald patch in the back of his head, and kids were making fun of him. And so I took him to the doctor, and the doctor told him that he had alopecia areata. Allie, if I'm not saying that right, feel free to jump in and say it correctly, because it's a tricky word. Anyways, they wanted to give me steroids to put on his head. And as a growing boy, I just wasn't comfortable with that. And so I wanted natural ways to treat that. And first and foremost, I mean, I have to give credit to God, because with my son already, who has to wear glasses and has significant hearing loss and isn't here, it was one more thing for my child to have to struggle with, and kids bullying him and laughing at him because now he's losing his hair. And I dropped to my knees and I gave it to God, and I prayed for God to give me a path to find a way to heal him, or to heal him, and just for this to be over with. And long story short, and the happy ending, and I'll tell you what I did. The happy ending is I don't have to use anything on him. This child has a full head of hair, has more hair than I'd like. He desperately needs a haircut. You know, he's, you know, that debating on whether we want to go long, and, you know, it looks like a mohawk, you know, just all over at that age where we're not, his sister is very good on grooming. He's not so much. So the wave haircut or whatever, but just full on head of hair. So during this time, I started giving him sulfurmise, and I would put it in Sunny D, or I would put it in capsules for him to take. Sometimes he would take it in water. It just kind of depended. But I also, another thing I did as well is, because I'm one of these parents that if I'm going to do something, I go in strong and hardcore. I don't just do anything halfway. So I made a combination of oils as well. And I took cedarwood, lavender, rosemary, thyme, and tea tree in a bottle, a glass bottle, with a little bit of oil and all those oils and a little bit of water. And after he got out of the shower, I would spray his hair every day at night. Obviously I put more lavender in it, so that was the smell that took over, versus some of these other oils that don't necessarily have the best smell. So he wasn't walking around like, woo, you know, sort of deal. At times I might add a little bit of peppermint in it too. But you know, I did that as long as he let me get away with it, till some kids finally commented, you know, that he had a certain smell to him, because like I said, I don't do anything, you know, like a light spritz. Okay. Very heavy handed, and especially at nighttime, overkill, but I wanted his hair to grow. Long story short, he doesn't have this issue anymore, and it has never been an issue again. Currently, my daughter has 2 arms that are full of eczema and hives, and I am using this right now again to treat her eczema and hives with it. And I gave her 2 teaspoons yesterday at school and put lavender under her tongue, and then gave her another teaspoon when she got home, and it already looks like it's helping. So she's got a long way to go. And she says it's like fire ants biting her and burning, and it's a huge uphill battle. So I'm excited to see where this will take her on her journey. And this stuff's wonderful. It's done amazing things that I would never even imagine possible. I've given it to my husband for multiple things. Unfortunately, I can't remember what I gave it to him for. You know, I just don't know. I was putting it in pill capsules and giving it to him for a really long time. It may have been a multiple things. It may have been for his thyroid. He no longer has a thyroid issue. I was giving him this. And there is also a thyroid supplement that you can take. Allie, what is it?
Thyromin.
I was giving him that. Okay, Thyromin, and it may have been this as well. But anyways, my husband had a thyroid issue, completely healed. He doesn't have to take any thyroid medication anymore for that. He did have, he was on the verge of diabetes. So it may have been this I was giving to him as well. That's not an issue anymore. So I can't remember the reason I was giving this to him. It could have been one of those are no longer issues, and I have stopped giving it. So that may have been the reason. But anyways, this stuff is a miracle, wonderful product, and it's got many uses.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Allison,
great to see you guys. I have workers at my house, and so unfortunately they're waiting to get to me, so I have to jump off, but it's good to see you.
Thanks for jumping in.
Take care.
Thank you. Allison, I think you're up.
Thank you. Well, I'm traveling, so I don't have the bottles to show on a couple I want to talk about. I got the actual ones that I bring with me, but I guess maybe the first one I wanted to talk about, supplement that I love, is Inner Defense. It looks like this. It's a little capsule, and you want to always take it with something fatty because it's got some strong oils in it. But let me tell you what this is used for. I have not had an antibiotic for probably 6, 7 years, I guess, easily. This is what I use. You know, what one thing about antibiotics that we all know, while it does take care of any issue you have, it really destroys your gut flora. And what I love about these Inner Defense, they include oregano, which is a great antibacterial. We've got thieves, which is an antiviral. We've got lemongrass, which is incredible for a lot of infectious things, and thyme. And so all of these are in this capsule. And so while you get rid of that bad issue you have, you don't destroy your gut. So what I do is if I'm traveling, when I would go overseas and I felt like my immune system could be compromised, I would take one a day. If I feel like I'm kind of not feeling that good, I may take one at morning, one at night. If I really get sick, I find myself sick, then I may take 3 to 4 a day. But this is a great one to have in your arsenal for any time. You can also obviously make your own with capsules, but this is so easy. And I recommend that everybody really take a look at this. It's called Inner Defense, great for immune support. Another one I want to talk about, which for me is a must, is Agiles. So Agiles is a great capsule, orange you can see because it has in it turmeric. We all hear about turmeric and the benefits for inflammation. This is great for joints, for anybody, maybe if you're an athlete and you have overstressed your joints. It contains this turmeric, it's got black pepper, it's even got frankincense powder. But for me, I take 2 of these every morning. That along with the sulfurzyme that she just mentioned are what I've used for joint pain. Several years ago, I retired and I found all of a sudden my knees were bothering me, and I was starting the stages of osteoarthritis. So I immediately lost some weight, and then I started taking both of these, and this is every day. I cannot not take these things. And I have no joint pain. My husband takes them now too. It's helped us so much. So that's one to consider. Also I look at Agiles almost like a natural ibuprofen. You know, when you would take ibuprofen when you have some kind of a body ache or issues or inflammation, this is when you take the Agiles, and it of course had no side effects, all natural. The last one I wanted to talk about, which is really important to me as well, I do happen to have this one with me, is Super B. You know, your B vitamins there's a lot of them. I think there's 8 B vitamins, and B1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 12. And B12 is the one that we hear a lot about to really give you energy. Well, this Super B has every one of those 8 B vitamins in it. In fact, they're all almost over 1,000% of the daily requirement of what you need. So in addition, it contains some selenium, magnesium, zinc, and some of these minerals that are very helpful. So B is what I went to my doctor and I was really tired, and she suggested I really take a strong B supplement. And I was happy to find Super B, which contains all of them. So for me, 2 in the morning are really important for me to keep my energy levels up. So those are 3 that I take among others that I like best. So
thank you so much, Allison. Amanda, do you want to go next, and then Emily will go after Amanda?
Sure. Okay. Hi, my name is Amanda, and I'm also a friend of Allie's, and I have some pretty amazing experiences with the supplements from Young Living, and I was really hesitant. I was really happy to get off a lot of medication and come to Young Living, and now I kind of joke with my husband that I take what I used to take in like medicine in supplements, like there's that many capsules in my hand in a given day. So I'm going to share just a couple of my favorites. I literally loved the sulfurzyme powder testimonials, because sulfurzyme is a huge one for me. And one of the things that I do with sulfurzyme is I don't actually take the same amount every day. I will take more as I need it. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about how I know if I need it. So I'm a very allergic person in my pre-Young Living stuff. And I really believe Sulfurzyme was a huge part of decreasing how I react. Oop, that was an oil. Hang on. I have an oil desk. They just gather here throughout the day, and sometimes they fall on the floor. Okay, so I used to be really reactive to things, and this is an example, like if I did this with my fingernail into my skin, you would see like a red welt come up. Have you ever had that experience where you like welt or really react? I really reacted to things like bug bites in an abnormal way. You know, you get a bug bite and I would be the person that swells. And so when I find that my body's really overreactive to things, I know that I need to increase my Sulfurzyme. And the side effect has been that a lot of my allergies have decreased as my overreactiveness has decreased. And so Sulfurzyme is just huge. And I love that she mentioned it for like hair growth. I do raindrops, mostly on my family, but sometimes on loved ones or whatever. And my nails do not stop growing. That sulfur is that naturally occurring sulfur, and it just gives your body what it needs on the inside. So I'm allergic to, Allie's allergic to nightshades. I'm allergic to nightshades. I'm allergic to sulfur. The way I found out this, and those would be the ones that are external that you put into your body. What Sulfurzyme is like the naturally occurring sulfur that already exists in your body. So people who are allergic to that, there's some good articles. Oh, help me. Lindsay Elmore's is my favorite to refer to because I just think it, from a pharmacy perspective, it explains it so well. But this Sulfurzyme, so when I start noticing that any of my allergy symptoms start to resurface, I increase my Sulfurzyme first. So if you have people who are having problems, maybe they react too strongly to the oils, Sulfurzyme can be one of my favorite things to get started with. So I love that it comes in a powder because my daughter does not take capsules. I won't tell you that she's an adult now, but she still will not swallow a capsule. So I love when Young Living has those extra benefits where you can get, let's see, BLM also has a powder and a capsule. So things like that that make life a little bit easier for those people who want it to mix it in and have it on the go. Me, I'm a capsule person. And so it's 2 capsules 2 times a day. That's a preventative dose. And that's one of the things I love about Young Living is that dose on the back is preventative. If you need more, in my highest pollen, you didn't tell me how much time I got to talk. So I'm just going to go one more step. So when we sold our last house and before we moved here, the people who bought it were like, well, where's your screens to your house? And I'm like, I don't know. We've lived here, I think 9 years and had never opened a screen. I'd never put them in. We moved in the winter. I never put them in because I was so allergic to the outside. I was so allergic to animals. Everything environmental, dust and mold, just really reactive. And so 9 years, never put in a screen. With Young Living, like I took the door and I added a screen door so I can have the fresh air into my office all the time. And I just love that I get to be outside with my kids and enjoy the grass, or I don't want to like rip out my eyes from itching after a softball game, those sorts of things. So Sulfurzyme is my favorite. I don't know if you guys have any questions on Sulfurzyme, but when pollen gets bad by me, I might do 20 a day. And I muscle test for it. I don't know if you guys do that. My chiropractors worked with me and I split it up throughout the day so that I'm doing kind of, maybe 6 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, 6 at night. That's probably when my seasonal stuff gets really bad. That's the dose I'm doing. I find Ninja Red is huge for keeping that core foundation. You can ask me, but that's how I do it. Yeah, so that's a big one. I also get to talk about Detoxzyme, and so that's kind of funny because the Zymes are, I would have told you before Young Living I didn't have gut issues, but that's because I didn't understand. I'm probably not the only person who didn't understand. Do you guys have Detoxzyme in South Africa? You'll have to tell me. Oh, not yet. You guys are going to want to watch for this one. So this is one of my favorite ones as a person who's pursuing total health. But sometimes I don't eat very well, only sometimes. And when I do and I get like bloated or gassy, Detoxzyme is your best friend. If you get into something that you're not supposed to, that you react to, then I started with Sulfurzyme and I've really expanded to Allerzyme and Detoxzyme a little bit. It helps you digest your starches. And that's one of the things that I just love about it the most is that it is like that extra tool. So I like to take them like after I eat and let them go to work, but I think you could probably be a little bit more proactive. It's just take 1 to 2 capsules 3 times a day. I don't do it that much that I'm super consistent with it, but I do it all daily. I get 1 or 2 of them in. And I find that it just helps me digest my food better, and I feel healthier. And it would be the one thing I noticed when we didn't have this. So with heavy metal poisoning, I would do, can I say this in your group? With heavy metal poisoning, the direction I went is Juva Cleanse in a capsule for a whole week. And then I switched to multigreens. What are you holding up? Multigreens? Yeah, I would do, yeah, I think the Digest would also very much help with that. The Juva Cleanse in that capsule helps you start to break that up in your body and release it. Oh yeah, GFL would be really good too. Similar oils in those two. But we did that in our house for lead poisoning. Okay, I get to talk about one more. And this, if I knew one thing coming into Young Living, I did not realize the importance of having a body be, the difference between alkalinity and acidity and the impact that was having on my body. So when I started Young Living, I had a fairly standard American diet, which means probably not very healthy. I also have a lot of stress. I have 8 kids that live at home. I have more kids than that. I have grandkids. I homeschool them. So this alkaline, my body was very acidic. How did I know that? Well, you can do like testing on little strips that you can purchase. And you can like a spit test, and it tells you if you're acidic or not. But if you have stress, you don't eat well. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you do that lean your body that way. Some of the things I noticed is that like if I cried, I would literally like leave red marks on my face. Oh, I meant to tell you what happens if your body's acidic. Okay, so when you're acidic, you can grow disease, and things that are already growing or harmful cells in your body multiply. So my friends who have been adoptive moms like me, foster moms, a lot of high stress situations, which I think is pretty much everybody in the world right now, we have a tendency that stress like eats at our body. And so I would have these red welts coming down my eye. I would break out where my skin touches. So like sometimes under my arms or around my belly button or other places where your skin, like behind your ears, like your skin touches your ears. So if your moisture content is acidic, and like you might notice that in your vaginal tract, other areas where you might feel acidic, but everybody has this. So alkaline is like, I bet they don't have that in South Africa, like Alka-Seltzer Gold. But if you took all the good stuff that Alka-Seltzer Gold can do for you and you magnified it, that would be alkaline. And it is, I'm going to show you how I do it, just because I find that the way I do it's kind of unique. So it comes in a packet or in a bottle. And I have also consciously made efforts to improve my diet, and I drink alkaline water throughout the day. You don't want to overdo alkaline water because you don't have that. I mean, you want your body to be in balance, not too alkaline, not too acidic. Find that balance in the middle. And so I literally eat it like yes, that's where I was going, was acid reflux, any kind of like burning in your gut, things like that. So I eat it like a pixie stick. It's like, oh yeah, and I started out with lemon in my water. And that's how I found out I was acidic. Hang on, I usually drink it then. Okay. That's what it does. I know it's a win. You can, that's funny. That's what I get for doing it live. I don't usually talk right after I do it. Anyway, you just like nibble on it. I got too much there because it was a demo.
Do you want to come back to you? Do you want me to come back to you so you can clear your palate? We'll come back to you. Amanda, thank you so much. Emily, you're up.
Hey, so I am going to talk about vitamin D, and I had a below I was out of the normal range, blood testing with my general physician, and she had me on some prescription dosage vitamin D for a while, and it still kind of wasn't getting me where I needed to go. And so as we were weaning off of that, I switched to the vitamin D, and I have continued to go up over the last 3 months. I'm continuing to go up, and I am going to, now I have the approval of my doctor to go up even more on that. So right now I'm taking about 2,000, I forget what it's about 100 milligrams. And so I'm supposed to go up to like 50 times 5 is 250 milligrams. That's what I'm supposed to go up to now to kind of get it ramped up even higher for that. But the reason I really like it is because it also has Melissa oil in it, which is really good for mood support. And it's something, I think it's more bioavailable because of the way you start to dissolve it on your tongue. It's a tablet, it's a chewable tablet, and it's got a nice, pretty neutral, slightly sweet flavor. And then you dissolve a little bit and then you chew it. And so it is vegan, and it also has lime in it, which I think gives it the tasty flavor, and a little bit of lemon balm. The other thing that I will say is I also do the Sulfurzyme, and I was a big migraine sufferer. And I can't really say, because I feel like I started doing Ninja Red every day and Sulfurzyme every day at the same time. But I will say I used to have multiple headaches a month, and now I don't. And I think the vitamin D has been huge for helping with my energy. I still want to get it a little bit higher. So I think I'm going to take the recommendation to try the vitamin B as well. That's all I have.
Anna, I saw that you were able to hop on. You want to jump in?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I think what I actually just want to begin with telling you guys is that I'm sitting here just with a lot of the supplements that I take. And, a lot of these I was introduced to actually just because I got them free on Essential Rewards when we were still ordering out of the US for the South Africans. So I actually just want to start by just, again, reminding everyone how amazing Essential Rewards is, because probably I wouldn't have discovered a lot of these supplements if it wasn't for the fact that I kind of got it free. And I was like, oh, well, let me see what this is about. And then because I had it, I started using it. And then suddenly, realized how absolutely amazing it was. But I think for me, I am actually a dietitian, and obviously as a dietitian, all our training was always around the first prize is a healthy diet. The problem for me is that it is so difficult to really get good, reputable sources of food. And so much of what we buy, it's very difficult to really know what you're getting. And so it doesn't help that you maybe think you're eating healthy, but the quality of the micronutrients specifically in those fruits and veggies aren't necessarily what you are expecting them to be. And for me, that is a big place where supplements fit in. And that's why for me, first and foremost, always Ningxia. I'm a huge Ningxia fan. I mean, it's not just my own experience. We chat about this a lot in my team. So many people who just have had phenomenal experiences physically on how they feel with Ningxia. So for me, that is the base of everything. And then kind of navigating your way around, which other supplements to take. Because I love this comment about, I have like a handful of supplements every day. You easily get there, but you obviously want to start somewhere. And so I think it's always a good place to just start and think sort of, where are you at? What is your diet like? What are you possibly struggling with? Always begin with Ningxia and then see what you can add. So, I mean, the first one for me that I'm really impressed with Life 9. My Mighty Pro is not here. It's down in my kitchen where my kids take it. But, these are really amazing probiotics. And actually, initially when I got them the first time and I started looking at it and actually started chatting to some of my dietetic friends who are still practicing and very active in it. And the thing that came out very clearly was that the combination of strains that are in both of these products are very special and very unique and difficult to find. So I think that's the one thing for me. Also knowing the quality of what you're getting, because there are so many on the market where you pay an absolute fortune, and in the end, when you're drinking it, the strains aren't in there anymore. So you really, you want to know what you're actually taking. And remember, for those of you who do take this, once you open the bottle, you should keep it in the fridge. I missed that initially, but that's obviously to maintain the life of it. So that's the one. And then Alison, you spoke about the inner defense, but I also have been blown away. Like when I feel, and often I kind of forget, because my go-to is always thieves under the feet. But when I really feel something coming on, I've never actually taken more than 2 or 3, because I'll take one, a couple of hours later, I take one again. Normally by the time I've taken 2 or 3, I've kind of nipped it in the butt, whatever was coming for me. But you can take, I think, up to 5 times a day, if I remember correctly, you can take this. And this is something absolutely amazing for me. And then I do take everyday sulfazyme. Well, I say that, I take it when I remember. Sulfazyme is not just your freebie, definitely for me. Past that, I bought tons of this out of the US, and I'm just kind of on my last bottle. So I'm very happy we have this in South Africa. But this is such an amazing supplement. I really feel everybody can take this, whether you're very active and wanting to support your joints post a workout, whether you're doing it for your skin, for your bones, for your hair. I predominantly started drinking it because I got very, very thin and fine hair, and really for hair growth was my main purpose. But I think it's, the more I learn and read about it, it's amazing. And Amanda, I love your experience on using it for allergies. That's something new I actually learned today, which is amazing. But I think this is a really great supplement that everybody can take. And then for me, navigating sort of through that, definitely if you struggle with joints, then to possibly add the Agile Ease. They're quite different, although they are both for joint health. Where this contains the MSM, the Agile Ease is more the frankincense resin. And actually, when I was reading about that frankincense powder, that's in Agile Ease, it's not the same as taking the oil. So that was also very interesting for me to learn about it. And then, although we don't have this in South Africa yet, I just remembered it now when you guys are speaking about the alkaline. I love this. I don't take it every day, but it's like my body just tells me. I can feel when I'm not, I feel when I'm not feeling great. Or maybe feel like I'm getting a bit of gout or something uncomfortable. And then I always will just go and take a sachet, and I immediately feel better. It's like your body does kind of tell you. And then the other thing I'd love to actually ask a question on the supplements is essential zymes, because I've just remembered that I have essential zymes and I've not used it. So if Ellie, I see you nodding, if you guys can share something for me. I'm very aware actually of Mighty Zymes, because I had very early in my introduction to Young Living, heard an amazing story of a lady who was visiting South Africa with our pre-launch, and spoke about how it had helped her grandson, who had been struggling a lot with autism. And but where she related it back was really in terms of the link with gut health. And so I immediately ordered a whole bunch of bottles of Mighty Zymes from the US for my daughter, because she had been on antibiotics multiple times as a young child. And I'm very, and I, she was actually the reason I started the Young Living journey. And I was very, very impressed with Mighty Zymes, but it just never occurred to me that I should be taking the essential Zymes too. But yes, I think it's so important to look after your health from the inside. It really, it begins at the gut, and it begins with trying to correct balance in our bodies, for sure. Ellie, thanks. I'll hand over to you.
Yeah.
There's something
I will, and I'll it's a great handoff, because I actually, here, let me, sorry, I don't know how to unpin you here. I'll figure it out. Sorry, we were having people unmute and the camera was going everywhere, but I was going to kind of go through my supplement routine, and I'm going to talk about digestive enzymes as I do it, because I think they're really important. And then I'll hit on essential zymes, Anna, as you asked the question. Okay, so first of all, supplements are amazing, but they only work when you take them. So I have a plan for that. My plan for that is I only remember to take my supplements when they're sitting by my toothbrush. So I highly recommend, you'll probably have heard me say this before, put it by your toothbrush. If it's an oil, like a hormone oil that you need every day, put it by your toothbrush. And I really hope that you brush your teeth twice a day, and then you remember to take your supplements and put your oils on. So my hormone oils and my supplements are all by my toothbrush, and I have this. And this has been really great for me because I do all 30 days at once, and then I look and see which bottles I'm going to be empty on. And so I have time to order my supplements and time to get them when I'm running out. So what I thought I would do is, this is my morning supplements, and then in the evening, I really just take really three things. So either Life 9 or Mighty Pro, which lives in the fridge, the Life 9. And then by my toothbrush, I have only two other supplements, which is Super Cal Plus, which is a calcium supplement that is very special because it's not made from rock, which most calcium is. It actually is made from a very special sea algae that has been proven to reverse osteoporosis, which is huge because I was early osteopenia. My mother was dealing with the same. Small Jewish women tend to have that issue. So I want to make sure to do that. And then I take a digestive enzyme before bed. Okay, digestive enzyme. So I typically eat no meat in the morning when I wake up. I'll have some kind of a keto bar or something like that that's vegetable, plant protein is what I should say. So I usually take Detox-Zyme in the morning because I'm more likely to have vegetable and starch breakdown. And I personally this is just how I do it and how I've done it in my head. It's not like the prescription for everyone or for life, but then I always take either Essential Zymes 4 or regular Essential Zymes in the evening because I almost always have some kind of meat at night. So what I thought I would do is show you my morning supplements. So in my hand, you can see, a multigreen hit the floor. So I have two multigreens, one that's now on the floor that I take in the morning. I take a Thyromin, which we mentioned earlier for thyroid. I started off taking 4 of these a day. Now I have no thyroid issues. I probably could stop taking Thyromin, but I just feel like if I take 1 a day, I don't ever want to go backwards, is all I have to say. Like, I was miserable. I had autoimmune Hashimoto's, and I don't want to go back there again. So I take 1 of these a day because I can. And I take 2 of these tiny little Detox-Zyme a day, which, by the way, a side effect of Detox-Zyme when your children take them is they start to like their vegetables more. So if you've got a kiddo who doesn't like to take their vegetables, these are tiny, tiny little pills. Have them take 1 or 2 a day, and they will start to like their food again and not crave carbohydrates and dairy all the time and actually want protein, fruits, and vegetables, which is a super cool trick. And then I take Illuminize, which is new for us. It is for blue light damage to your eyes because I am just on screens too much. And I wish I could say I'm going to cut that back, but I don't see that happening. So I take this. And then I take 2 Super B every day. By the way, this has nutmeg oil in it, which is amazing for adrenals and for adrenal fatigue and thyroid stuff. So it's a superpower B. Also, I took B before Super B, and I used to burp it up. It used to make me sick, and this does not do that. So that is awesome. And then I take 2 Super D a day, and these I take last. And actually, I did a little video last night. I don't know if you guys saw it. I put it on our Facebook group. But I take all of the capsules, including the one on the floor, and I lean my head forward when I take the capsules, and you drink it that way, and they slide down your throat. And then I save my 2 Super B, which are tablets, and I lean my head back because apparently, I learned this year, and it's super true, is capsules are easier if you lean forward, and tablets are easier if you lean backwards. Who knew? And then I just suck on and then chew my Super D afterwards. So that's kind of the moral of the story of what I take. My husband takes different things than me. He takes the Master Formula, which is a multivitamin, kind of covers most of the bases. He takes Agilase and Sulfurzyme because he needs the joint support because he was an athlete and still works out really hard, and his body has taken a toll from it. He takes Powergize, which balances testosterone level. And when he started taking it, he lost 20 pounds in his gut in the first 3 months. Like, I honestly thought that he had a disease. Like, he was just dropping weight. And I realized that all of the weight he was losing was in his belly. And that's where he gained it. And I started to do research on low testosterone, and it makes you gain belly weight. Highly recommend Powergize for men, like after 30, 35, like as the testosterone level starts to go down, or women post-menopause if you're struggling with hair loss and the energy level and that kind of thing. I'm trying to think of what else he takes. He takes digestive enzymes and Life9 as well. We love supplements in our house. Like, this is honestly the vast majority of what I buy from Young Living is supplements. That's just what we spend our money on. And then we get lots of free oils with the points we earn for buying our supplements. So I think that Allison also wanted to tell a story about Super Cal. So I'm going to hand it off to her.
Thanks. Yeah, there's a product I just wanted to share in case anyone has this issue, and it's called Mega Cal. I don't have it with me. I don't know if you have one, Allie, you could hold up, but it's in a jar and it's a powder. And it really supports the body's calcium need. I took it, I was starting to have a lot of leg cramps, and probably you younger ladies haven't gone through this yet, but you sometimes you have restless leg or leg cramps, or I'd wake up and my whole calf would be like stuck. And so I knew there was, and I was taking calcium, but I knew there was something else going on. So I read a lot and decided I'd try the Mega Cal. And so I put a scoop, they give you a little scooper and you put it in water, a glass, and I pour water on it. And it's got a nice lemony flavor. And it's got a lot of magnesium in it. It contains calcium, magnesium, manganese. It's even got some vitamin C in it. And it's really for your cellular health as well as bone formation. So for me, it has just been tremendous. And then the other side effect, or the other not side effect, the other great thing about it is magnesium. You know, we know that's very much part of making you calm. It's in Epsom salts, and people like to relax in the bath with all that. So Young Living had come out with a product for kids when they were really hyper that contained magnesium. Well, I have a son that's 30 and has special needs, and he has a lot of anxiety. Well, he's too big. He's 230 pounds, so I'd have to probably give him a whole box of the one for kids. So what I ended up doing was trying the magnesium, the Mega Cal. So I give him a glass with a scoop of the Mega Cal in there, and it really helps with calming him down as well. So that's been great for me. But again, if you're experiencing any kind of cramping legs at night, at daytime, anytime, any of those cramps, Mega Cal is a great one to try. So I wanted to share that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Allison, and everyone else that spoke. I wanted to open up, if anyone else has a story they want to share, I'd love to give you that opportunity, or if you have questions that you wanted to ask. I saw that there was a question about multigreens. I don't see any gelatin. I really think it's the bee pollen. I'm almost positive, because I've had this discussion before with someone who is vegan, and the reason that it's not considered vegan was because of bee pollen. So that's from an animal is why. Amanda, were you going to say, oh yeah, I think I was messaging with Amanda Annalie, and I think she was done. She just was coughing.
Oh yeah, I'm good. Yeah, that's funny. I was just going to say that, like, you could mix it in water too, but I was showing how I took it. That's the only other sentence I had. Yeah, the other thing I maybe will mention, if I can I go one more? You didn't really tell me okay. So is that it's just really, I love that your routine is really good. I personally try and mix it up a little bit. And so on Sundays, I don't do all of my supplements the exact same. I also try and change up my oils, because our body's always constantly adapting, and I feel like as oilers we're really intuitive and we start to know our bodies. But I also don't want to that's Powergize. I'll just keep typing. I love supplements so much. Thanks for letting me come to your call. So but on Sundays, I also just try and take a little bit of a space and let my body kind of go back. So one of my favorite supplements is called Cortistop, because I mentioned I have a lot of stress in my life. And so one of the important things is just to read some of these body labels, because you can only do Cortistop for a certain period of time, because you want your body to function the way it's supposed to. We want to get our stuff from good foods the way we're supposed to. And so just being open to mixing it up a little bit, because you get energy from both multigreens and Super B and Nitro. But just so everybody's body's going to be really different. Some people do better with the capsules and some people do better with the powders. And I just wanted to share that with you, that there's so many good testimonials here, and it can get kind of overwhelming. I think I love Anna, that foundation of Ningxia Red, and then introducing, I think, gut health, and then looking at what your biggest goal is. And so, you know, Allie, our husbands are on the exact same kind of protocol. And I'm like, oh, that's because that's that age and that need. So we're all coming from a different place.
Absolutely. I want to just quickly share a really cool way to muscle test that I learned this year that was really cool. So if you're not familiar with muscle testing, it can sound really woo-woo and crazy, like really woo-woo and crazy. That's all I have to say. But I used to think it was crazy, but I've learned that it really does work. And in the past, people can do it for you, but you can also find that they can transfer sometimes things to you. So I learned a really cool way. I don't know if you can see me fully, but if I stand up and I hold something at my belly and I stand with my legs like shoulder width apart, and then I tell myself forward is positive, yes. Backwards is negative, no. And I hold something at my belly button. It could be an oil, it can be a supplement, it can be whatever. And I've done this actually, Amanda, to your point about taking the same thing every day, is I picked up my supplements one day and I went backwards. So then I started pulling things out of my supplements to figure out, what does my body not want today? It didn't want multigreens that day, but the next day it did. So it's kind of interesting, and it sounds super crazy, but I really like that muscle testing, and play with it. Maybe when you're alone and people don't think you're crazy, but it really works for me. It works for me with oils too. If I'm trying to figure out intuitively, you know, what oil my body is calling for, if I'm trying to deal with something, it's yes, you're using your body as a pendulum. Exactly. It's exactly the case. It's pretty cool. Okay. Do you have any other questions or anything else you guys want to share? Did we talk about all of the new supplements in South Africa already? Mighty Pro, Life 9, Sulfurzyme, Inner Defense, Multigreens, and there's a sixth one. I don't know.
You have a question, Ellie?
Yes.
Please.
Ellie.
I have kids who don't swallow, and I know from what I've heard, I can put the powder into a drink for them.
Yes.
What like a multivitamin or something just in general for kids is good?
Yeah, so multizymes, that digestive enzyme that we were just talking about, is a chewable. And there's also Multivites is a multivitamin, which is a chewable made for kids. And then Mighty Pro is a pixie stick. I'm gonna just show you because it's time for my afternoon treat, and I'll skip my Lifeline today. So this is the kids pre and probiotic, which has some really special strains in it. And you see it's like a little, like, it's just a packet of powder. And you just open it up and pour it straight in your mouth. Really yummy. It tastes like a pixie stick. It is literally my dessert. It's so good. You really do have to keep the kids away from it though, because they will eat multiple of them. It's so good. So those are kind of the tricks for kids who can't take pills. But I also did a video last night in the Facebook group about how to teach your kids how to swallow capsules, which is the first thing is to prepare their mind, right? Is if I'm going to eat a piece of steak or a piece of chicken, it's not gone by the time I swallow, right? I'm going to chew it, and then I'm going to swallow, and there's a piece of food there that I'm actually swallowing. So if you say that to them first, and then I give them something like a detoxzyme that's really small, then I can say, now see if you can swallow this, and if you can, I'm going to give you a treat. That's how I taught my kids I taught them when they're like 3 and 4. And that was just a godsend, that now I can make them capsules for discomfort, if they hurt themselves, or for, you know, something viral we're trying to deal with, or whatever it may be. But learning how to take capsules is like the best trick ever. But we do have a lot of chewables. The question is, will they like the flavor and agree to take them? So that's why if I can just get them to swallow it, I don't have to worry. Ooh, that's good to know, Shelly. And then multigreens, yeah, you can open the multigreens up and you can put them in your smoothies. Yes, yes. Anna and Amanda said it at the same exact time. It's like, Great minds think alike. A great way to get. And also, I want to just mention about the multigreens. We didn't specifically say this. Multigreens has a lot of really cool stuff in it. It's not just about a greens. There are a bunch of C greens in there, which are really high in iodine. Again, I go back to thyroid always, is that your body, if you're having adrenal and thyroid fatigue, iodine is a really great thing to boost in your body, and multigreens has it. It also has melissa oil, which is one of the most antiviral oils that is known. So it's boosting and supporting your immune system. And it has a lot of just really good stuff in it. So it's not just about like, I mean, it's a great way to get your greens, and greens that you often may not have access to living in wherever you live. Like we don't live in Japan on the sea. So we may not be eating seaweed every day or kelp every day. So there's some really cool greens to get. Ooh, it's good for people who suffer with depression. Good to know. Good to know. All right, so I mean, there are a lot. Go, Amanda. You have something you want to share?
Well, I do. So Alexia, that's a really pretty name. She asked about nitro, and I like my team actually calls the act of drinking a nitro, they hashtag it Friedolin, because I've got, so many kids and so much to do. And it's kind of how I get things done. So I will just give you a little bit about nitro if I can really quick, because sometimes people think it's a treat and not a supplement, but it's really, really good for your body. It's one of the only places that Young Living has like cacao oil in it. So it actually has chocolate in it, and it is a it has sour cherry in there, which helps with like preventing bad cholesterol and reducing muscle damage and helping with exercise. It also helps with your sleep. And it has the acerola. I don't know how to say some of these words, so just know that everybody can be a diamond and share, because I don't know all the words. But that helps with like vitamin C and your minerals, and they even use it to stimulate collagen growth in your body, and it has like wound healing. And people, like athletes, use it for physical endurance. So I always kind of joke that nitro is not just about growing your brain and like focus and clarity, but it's also for pre or post workouts. It has black currant berries in there that can help with like joint pain and arthritis and things like that. And there are so many goods. This is one of the few things that helps with like your, it's like a hormone, and it helps with like how you eat. It's called anorexogen. Do you guys know this? And it's basically, it helps you feel full. And so I do, there's some talk that it doesn't help after 2 a day with your energy level, but I may disagree that if they're fairly spread out, that third or fourth one may still give you some good benefit. But it's literally, the leptin is an appetite suppressant, and it helps release fat from inside your tissues. And so obesity is a leptin resistance type. Am I going too far into depth? You should try nitro if you haven't. It helps every single thing about your body, and it helps your brain and your focus and your endurance and everything. I love it so much. So there's just the perfect essential oils in there. There's perfect things for your appetite and stimulation for your brain. The first time I had one, I'm sorry, I'll go too long. So the very first time I had one, I shared it with, if you've never bought a nitro, and I came from a place of a lot of lack. And so the first time I got one, I wanted to save it, and I shared it with my husband. And I thought I could have solved world hunger right there in that moment with half of a nitro. So I just want you to know that if you are stuck or your brain isn't clicking on all forces, that nitro can be just a great tool for you, but it just has so many benefits. You should give it a try. Everybody has a different way they do it. My husband like blows into his and drips it into his mouth at the end. Some people even cut off the bottom. I suck on it, and periodically people will take a picture of them and they'll hashtag it just for me. So if you ever need a little bit more support, as far as all the things, nitro I think is a good place to start. Oh, and if you are deficient in magnesium, you don't necessarily get the boost. So a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't feel that. Well, then you need to check your magnesium, because that tends to be a reason you don't get that up.
Thank you, Amanda. Can you give it to kids, or is it for adults only?
We do give it to kids in my house. So now my youngest at home is 8. We've been in oils 8 years. So he's the only one that's kind of got experimented on. But my athlete kids, my runners, are they use it every time before they run. A couple of my kids are very athletic, and I personally have given it down, like they get some of it all the way down to the 4, but you know how in schools, they'll suggest like a Mountain Dew as a brain focus, that the stimulant helps. So that's what we use it for in my house. One of my kiddos who has trouble with focus gets some also. Anyway, you got the energy drinks. Yeah, absolutely. I think nitro is just a really important. People don't realize how much value this brings to the table. Just even, you know, the ingredients in it. If you look up what does green tea do for your body? Well, that helps your body prevent cancer cells. What do B vitamins do for your body? What is that source of iodine for your thyroid? Like, this is like in this little tube. It does so good. Sorry, I rambled.
No, I love nitro, and
I love nitro.
It's on my list of things that I've been begging for South Africa, and I really should talk about more in the US. I don't take it every day personally because I'm super sensitive to caffeine, but I take it in the morning if I haven't slept well and I know that I need to go all day. So I should talk about it more. And when I travel, I always have nitro with me, especially if I travel internationally. So I can try to regulate back again.
It's about 35 to 40 milligrams of caffeine, and that's from the naturally occurring caffeine in green tea. They don't add an additional, other than I would assume that maybe if there's the cacao oil.
It's cacao and green tea, yeah, is the
cacao.
two.
See,
Yeah.
I told you, like, anybody can. I didn't prepare for
I
that.
wasn't trying to correct you. I just.
But I like to mix it sometimes with my Ningxia and just have like a little elevated drink. They don't recommend, although you can give Ningxia to your animals, they don't recommend nitro going to your animals. Some people like it in water or juice. Mostly I just drink it straight, and I have it. It would be what I get with my points almost every month. Like I just kind of max out, and then I get the oils around it. So I love nitro.
I also do, if I do like my red drink with Ningxia and lime and sulfurzyme in the morning, which if you haven't heard that drink, the red drink yet, like that is amazing, like for all the things. Boost your glutathione levels, you get all the benefits of the sulfurzyme and then the Ningxia red. And then if I'm really tired, I'll add my nitro to that same cocktail, which I normally drink pretty fast because I'm thirsty. I go through a lot of water when I first wake up. So, all right. We are at the top of the hour. I will stop